good evening, and welcome back to the Shadow Nook. Tonight we are going to visit a place in the Midlands in England, a place called Aston Hall. Aston Hall is a Jacobean mansion situated in the village of Aston in the Midlands in Birmingham in the UK. Construction began in 1618 and was completed by 1635. The house was commissioned by Sir Thomas Holt, a wealthy and powerful landowner. The building itself was designed by John Thorpe, an architect known for his early 17th century country house designs. The hall was constructed of red brick with stone dressings, showcasing the classic symmetry and ornate gables typical of Jacobean architecture. The mansion sits within what was once Aston Park, a vast estate that originally covered several hundred acres of land. Aston Hall was intended as a statement of wealth and power, reflecting Sir Thomas Holt's high social status. Sir Thomas Holt was well known for his explosive temper and authoritarian nature, and stories of his harsh treatment of family and servants circulated even in his own lifetime. Now the Holt family held influence in the nearby county of Warwickshire and had close ties to the monarchy. During the English Civil War, Sir Thomas supported King Charles I. In 1643, Aston Hall was attacked by parliamentarian forces after Holt had invited the king to stay there. The attack left the house damaged. Cannon fire tore through its walls and staircases, leaving visible scars that remain to this very day. One of the most famous features is a cannonball hole in the main staircase's wooden banister, a physical reminder of that siege. Following the Civil War, the Holt family's wealth declined over the generations. By the 19th century, the estate was sold off and the house went through various ownership. In 1864, it became one of the first historic houses in Britain to be purchased by municipal authority, Birmingham Corporation to be exact, for public use. It was opened as a public museum in 1858, prior to the full purchase, showcasing local history and fine art. The house has since been restored several times and is now managed by the Birmingham Museums Trust. Today it remains a striking example of Jacobean architecture and a significant piece of Birmingham's early history. The hall's great hall, long gallery, and oak staircase are key historic highlights for visitors. And Aston Hall's long and turbulent history, along with its tales of cruelty, imprisonment, and tragedy, have led to numerous ghost stories and reports of paranormal activity within its walls. So, let's begin with the infamous Grey Lady. The Grey Lady is the most famous ghost at Aston Hall. She is said to be Mary Holt, one of Sir Thomas Holt's daughters. According to legend, Mary fell in love with a suitor her father did not approve of. When she tried to elope with her lover, Sir Thomas discovered the plan. Enraged, he locked his daughter in her room, forbidding her from leaving the hall. Some versions of the tale claim she was confined for over 16 years. Mary eventually died in isolation, either from grief, illness, or simply despair. Her restless spirit is said to roam the upper floors of the hall. Witnesses have reported a pale grey figure gliding along corridors and appearing near the staircase. Others have described feelings of overwhelming sadness and suffocation in the rooms believed to have been hers. The Grey Lady is often sighted in the long gallery, where visitors claim to sense a cold and heavy presence. Staff members in recent times have also reported faint sobbing sounds and the feeling of being watched when locking up after dark. Another well-known apparition is the Green Lady. She is said to be a former housekeeper or servant of the hall, though her identity is uncertain. The spirit appears dressed in a long green gown, gliding silently through the servant corridors and staircases. She is most frequently sighted near the Great Hall and the main staircase. Unlike the Grey Lady, her presence is not considered malevolent or heavy. Witnesses describe her as calm or even protective. Some believe she lingers to watch over the house and its visitors. On rare occasions, visitors have seen a flash of green fabric disappearing around a corner, only to find nobody is there. Staff closing the building at night have reported hearing the rustling of skirts and soft footsteps following them through the halls. Now, in the attic area of Aston Hall, known as the Dick's Garret, is one of the most haunted spots in the whole house. The story tells of a young servant boy named Dick, who lived and worked in the hall centuries ago. Dick was accused of stealing from the household, terrified of the punishment he would face from Sir Thomas Holt. The boy hanged himself in the attic rather than face his master's wrath. Since then, visitors and staff have reported strange occurrences in the garret. People claim to hear soft crying, footsteps, and even the sound of rope creaking. Sudden cold spots and feelings of despair are often reported in that area. Some visitors have also described a faint shadow moving in the corner of their vision and always just out of sight. The atmosphere in Dick's Garret is so heavy that some tour guides refuse to enter it alone. Another spirit often mentioned is that of the man in black, believed by some to be Sir Thomas Holt himself. His ghost is described as a tall figure in dark clothing, sometimes seen standing at the top of the staircase in the Great Hall. Witnesses have reported a feeling of intense authority and anger in his presence. Some paranormal groups suggest this apparition is linked to Sir Thomas's well-documented temper and his oppressive treatment of those around him. Footsteps have been heard pacing through rooms when the building is completely empty, and others report doors slamming shut with great force, especially near the master's chambers. So, during the Civil War siege in 1643, Aston Hall was attacked by parliamentary forces. Legend claims that the energy of the violent event still lingers in the building. Visitors have reported echoes of shouting, gunfire and marching boots in the Great Hall and along its corridors. Some claim to have heard the impact of cannon fire or even smelt faint gunpowder. A few paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained noises, resembling the clatter of armour or sword strikes. The damaged staircase, still showing the cannonball hole, is often cited as a focal point for these echoes of battle. Some more general occurrences of paranormal activity are from staff members and visitors alike who have experienced unusual activity throughout the building. Lights turning on and off even when the power is off or isolated. Footsteps heard on upper floors when the building is locked and empty. Security systems occasionally trigger for no identifiable reason. Some report a faint column of white light moving along the long gallery late in the evening. Others describe cold drafts, sudden temperature drops, and the feeling of being watched. Many paranormal teams consider Aston Hall to be one of Birmingham's most active haunted locations. So going back to Sir Thomas Holt, his name is often mentioned in connection with the Hall's haunted reputation. He was notorious for his temper. It is said he once struck a servant dead in anger. Another story claims he killed his cook after a meal was served cold. Some versions suggest he even locked his wife in a room until she starved. Whether or not these tales are historically accurate, they've helped shape Aston Hall's sinister folklore. Paranormal enthusiasts believe the Hall's unrest stems from his cruelty and the suffering he caused. Visitors have claimed to feel an oppressive, angry presence near the master's quarters, which is a sensation often attributed to Holt's lingering spirit. Let's move on to some more modern sightings and investigations at Aston Hall. Aston Hall continues to attract ghost hunters and paranormal researchers alike. The building has featured in numerous TV documentaries and investigations, including the popular Most Haunted. Teams have captured EVPs, temperature drops, and movement on motion sensors when no one was present. Visitors on candlelit tours have fainted or felt physically ill in certain rooms. Many guests describe a strong sense of being observed by unseen eyes when walking through the hall alone. despite scepticism, the sheer volume of experiences at the Hall over decades has secured Aston Hall's place among the most haunted historic houses in England. So Aston Hall is not just a masterpiece of Jacobean design, but a place steeped in tragedy and mystery. From the sorrowful Grey Lady to the frightened servant Dick, the house's stories reflect centuries of human emotion, love, loss, anger, and despair. Whether haunted by restless spirits or by echoes of its own turbulent past, Aston Hall remains one of Birmingham's most atmospheric historical landmarks. Before you leave, I will do your oracle card reading. Before I put this deck away for the winter and the coming year, I will use it one last time. This is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. As usual, I will draw one card, and you can interpret it however you like. We have Candle Magic. Speak your breath into its velvet. Recite along its spine all that you desire, all that which will unravel. Let me know down below what this could possibly mean to you. Thank you again for joining me tonight in the Shadow Nook. Don't forget to collect your subscription on your way out. Sleep well. Good night.